All right, g'day guys, and welcome to the first episode of Talking Trilogy, which is a side project of the Tee Off podcast, where I, Paddy Robinson, together with Dylan Feldman right here, are going to talk all things Trilogy discs. Dylan and myself are both sponsored by Latitude 64 and have had some pretty reasonable success with their Trilogy discs over the years. Competing in the disc golf world down in Australia. That's where we have these, funny accents from, I suppose, Dill. In this series, you will hear Dylan and myself talk about our knowledge and our experience with Trilogy discs. We're hoping to discuss old discs, new discs, Trilogy products in general, how to build a bag, and, much, much more.
So pretty much what we normally talk about, Paddy.
Yeah, pretty much on our day-to-day lives.
Letting other people listen now.
Yeah, mainly with our wives. So this is our outlet. This is what they've pushed us to do.
I'm going to name this Mike Ellie.
You can be my disc golf wife. Yeah, something like that.
I do.
Yeah, cool. We've gotten weird already. I like it. So just
setting the bar high
for any new players out there that you're coming in. We do hope that this will be a little bit informative as well as a bit of fun too. But if you haven't heard of the Trilogy, or if you're thinking what is Trilogy, very quickly, and this is the first and last time that we're going to do this, but Trilogy is the three fantastic disc golf companies in Latitude 64, Dynamic Discs, and Westside Discs. Latitude 64 is based in Sweden. Dynamic Discs in Emporia, Kansas in the US, and Westside Discs is originally a Finnish company, but they're now also produced in Sweden. They were kind of taken over and absorbed by Latitude and Dynamic. So first off, Dill, just maybe a little bit about yourself. How long have you been sponsored by Latitude, and what's the success that you've had with those discs?
Yeah, well...
before we do, cheers to the first pilot episode here. Got a nice little scotchy scotch.
So I've been sponsored by Latitude for 2 years, I think.
Yep.
2 years. I've thrown Latitude and Trilogy discs for a while. I want to say 3 or 4 years, maybe.
At least.
Only Latitude discs for at least 3 or 4 years. And in 2022, I won the Aussie Nationals throwing only Latitude discs, and I reckon that was a part of how I got sponsored by Latitude later that year.
Helps.
It helps.
It helps.
Yeah. So, and I've...
Well, the disc helped to get the win, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's why I throw them.
Oh, good, mate. I've been sponsored by Latitude for, nearly 10 years.
That's longer than I've been playing. Well, it's as long as I've been playing disc golf.
I think this is my 8th year going into being sponsored by Latitude. There you go. I've been on the scene for a while. I've won 3 Australian championships with Latitude discs, and multiple Australian tours. I've won a New Zealand nationals as well. Very well versed in the Latitude lineup and dynamic of it, or the Trilogy lineup, and love the discs, love the company. They're awesome. So, cool. All right. Moving on. So the next little part of this we thought we'd do is do a brief recap each time we come around about Team Trilogy. Now, there is some incredible players that have been sponsored by Trilogy. We're only going to go by those top elite players playing in some of the highest Pro Tour events, and just sort of, we like to watch the Pro Tour and follow all that along, but it's good to see and highlight some of these Trilogy players who maybe are a little bit more upcoming. Maybe they're not hitting in that those top sort of 10 every week. They're staple names, but they're actually playing some red hot golf. So we thought we'd do just a quick little recap here and there. So first up, Dill, what have we got?
We had the DGPT Silver event over in Finland.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the first year, I think that the Pro Tours kind of moved into some events in Europe.
So that's the Heinola Heinola Open.
Heinola Open.
Sweet.
And that was won, fittingly, by Latitude 64, our teammate,
Nice.
Jakub Semerad.
Oh, Jakub.
Jakub.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's good to, I think one of the most exciting installment in the last 2 years has been seeing more European players come over into the US.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But we're seeing some amazing footage come out of Europe, of the courses and everything over there as well, and highlighting some of these players. Latitude, a majority of their team is European. They do have some standout US players like your Johnny McRae, your Kevin Kiefer, but they do seem to be highlighting some of these European guys. So yeah, it's been great to see Jakub play the Pro Tour a little bit more, and awesome to see that he got a win at the Heinola Open as well. So seems like he's done it in some pretty nice fashion there too, Dill.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love watching European stuff as well for the last few years as well. Yeah, it's great. I don't mind that the commentary's in Finnish or Swedish.
I like it.
It's disc golf.
Yeah.
And they usually throw more Trilogy. So
yeah,
it's good stuff. So yeah, he won in a playoff, one hole playoff.
Oh, wow.
Short and sweet.
They're the best kind of playoffs.
Yeah, well, up for debate. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
If you win them,
If you win them,
yeah,
you don't want any more holes. And we had Laurie Lettinen in third, as well as Timu Lampinen, who was also tied third with Larry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
3 out of 4 in the top 3.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but it does.
Love it.
Yeah.
Solid. That's a little added bonus there, isn't it?
showing.
Like cash wise, surely. Yeah. Anyway,
Definitely.
And then Silver Lat ended up sneaking in. He played that event as well and snuck into the top 20. So yeah, unreal.
No easy feat, because I know there's a few Americans over already with the DGPT swing over in Europe in the next month or two.
Yep.
I know Eric Oakley's over there. I know, our own Lukey Baines over there.
Yes.
So yeah, I know there's increased competition at the moment, which is good.
Very solid.
Good win.
Then next up, you've actually got a couple of other stats here, Dill.
I'm a stats man.
All right.
For those who don't know, love my stats.
Go on, hit me with some stats.
Got carried away.
No.
Forgot that I wasn't doing this for my own pleasure, but for the audience.
Look, if you ever listen to the actual Tee Off podcast, we don't have as many stats. I love stats too. So hit me with some stats.
That's about to change.
You never get carried away, and Tim's not here to say no, you can't do that.
So some notable stats. I'll just keep it short.
Yep.
But not too short. We've got to enjoy it. He had Jakub. Had the equal least amount of birdies for the tournament in the top 12.
Wow.
And he's won. So 11 players had more birdies than him, and that's just in the top.
Wow.
The next 11 players had
That's
more
a cool
birdies,
stat.
which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, right.
So it made me think, how many bogeys did he have? No surprise, the least out of everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
Only 2.
Everyone else is roller coastering, and he's just kind of
Cruising along, making his pars, scrambling.
Nice.
Best scramble rate of the top 30, which is, everyone kind of in contention over the course of the tournament. So
that's cool.
That kind of sums up his
suppose
victory.
It speaks to the course a bit as well. That, maybe it wasn't that not birdie bash quite tough. Like
no, not at all.
Yeah,
well, he finished. I think he finished neg 19. I think.
Yeah. Wow.
Over 3 rounds.
Yeah. Okay. Solid.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
And about Jakub as well. So 1030 rated.
1031 rated. Yep.
Nice.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's super solid. That's that's at least the top 30?
Top 20? Easily, I think.
25 maybe in
Pro Tour? Has he been in America or for Pro Tour events like as much as your Nicholas Antela and all those players? Because I feel like with that kind of rating, you'd see him more often.
Yeah. He's only been like the last couple of years he's been there more. I mean, he's had a couple of highlights where he's, sort of been up there on like feature card, lead card.
Yeah.
But only been a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've written here that he putts with an Orbit Sense Hope.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
interesting
one of
as
the
well.
new Royal Line, newish, last year or two.
Yeah.
Royal Line discs, which I've seen a few of the pros get around with on the putting green.
Yeah, looks like he's had some
And
success with that.
Well, yeah, I don't know if this is when he was putting with them. I'm gonna say so. He was the putting world champion in 2022.
Sweet.
So that probably has something to do with the scrambling.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and he's got a
Good
couple
stuff.
of Team Series discs as well. So he's got the Ballista Pro, which was the Orbit.
Ballista Pro.
Yep. And then he's got the Brave as well, which is only just recently this year that he's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's only been released this year,
Yeah.
I think. I've been loving the Brave. Have
Yeah.
you been throwing it much?
No. I threw it a little bit when I was down on the farm with my
Oh, yep.
in-laws,
Yep.
and it did feel good. And then I saw you throw it a little bit at Inverleigh at the Vic Open. I was like, oh, maybe I should start to check this out a bit more.
Yeah.
Because you throw it very nice.
It's a nice disc. I'm not a massive fan of understable fairways, but this one's stayed in the bag for longer than any. So
Okay. And there's a Jakub one as well. So
and there's a Jakub one. Yeah.
even better. Cool. All right. Moving on. Let's have a look at the Portland Open, which was very recent, presented by Latitude 64, which is also very cool. And this is part of my favorite time of year when they start to hit this West Coast swing because these courses are incredible. We wanted to highlight Rebecca Cox in the FPO. So she tied for 7th, which is one of her higher finishes this year in
Yeah, definitely.
Pro Tour as well. So
Yeah.
awesome to see. I know she's worked pretty hard over the last couple of years, like tweaking her form, and I would definitely class her as an up and comer and a developing pro player. But yeah, it seems to be, to take tied for 7th in that is huge. Like that course was
yeah.
no joke. Lots
It's
of
a
bombs.
bruiser. It's a bruiser.
Yeah, so awesome to see.
Yeah.
Awesome to see.
Yeah.
I think so she's 950 rated, 951 rated, and she was 970 for the event. So happy days. Really
Yeah.
solid.
Definitely.
We also had Albert Tam. He played in obviously MPO and tied for 31st. We had a couple of dynamic sponsor players as well. So we wanted to shout out Ty Love. So he's under the dynamic banner. He ended up coming 28th, which is pretty solid for him.
Was he tied for 28th or just solo?
Oh, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot. Let's have
Ty Love.
He was tied with Joey Buckets. So there you go.
There you go. Not a bad name to be tied with.
Not a bad
He
name.
played all right. With him.
And then the big boy, Richard.
Well, they've started putting Richard on the scores in the media.
Oh, really?
Instead of Ricky. And my brother came in, doesn't even watch disc golf. He's like, "Who's Richard Wysocki? Is that like a brother of Ricky?" I was like, "No, it's the same person." So
No, he's the same
they've done
dude.
I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's a new person's taken over and just decided to put Richard in there, but
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
No.
It's Ricky.
Yeah, like
Richard just reminds me of the meme.
Don't start calling me Patrick. Like you can, but like I'm Paddy in disco.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And he's Ricky. It's all good. But no, he had an absolute stellar Portland Open and came 3rd in the end. And to be honest, there were probably a couple of rounds there where I reckon he was looking pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He can't be far off. Has he won recently?
He has not won for a while. Like
Yeah.
he won the Pro Tour Championships last year, but he's definitely. I mean, since he's come down with Lyme disease and stuff, I think it's been a battle with the body. But he's been looking very dangerous the last couple of events. So pretty exciting to see him finish 3rd there, and I'm excited to what's to come.
Yeah, well, I think he's building just at the right time of the season.
Yeah,
Too.
100%.
And you got European Open in the next month. You got Worlds not too long after that.
Yeah.
I think he'd be loving where he's at.
Now, a name that we probably haven't heard as much in a while because she hasn't been as present on the tour, but Kona Panis, a.k.a. Kona Montgomery, she actually played Portland as well and ended up coming 32nd. Now, has had a lot of health problems over the last, maybe 12 months, I'd say.
I haven't been super in the loop with this.
Oh, she had like thyroid cancer, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and had to have surgery and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
she's been coming back, I would say. You know, and Kona's had some pretty big success in the last couple of years. She's obviously a massive influencer on socials and everything like that. So has been part of the DD team for quite a while now. I'd say like, what, 4 years maybe?
Yeah, and part of the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Her and Colton.
Anna Colton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah, he's she did play. She came 32nd. I still think she's making her way back, but it's really good to see her out and competing. Yeah, again. So,
for sure.
Sai Nanda played Portland as well, and has been having a very solid year with a couple of top 20 finishes so far. But at Portland Open, she ended up coming 24th, which was pretty solid. And then the other one we will be looking at is Matty O, who's sponsored by Westside, but he didn't play this one. He hasn't played one for a little while, actually. So
wonder why that is.
Yeah, looks like he's got a few big events coming up: the Preserve, the Majestic, and then he heads over to Europe. So be exciting to shout him out and follow him in the next couple of episodes.
Definitely fan favorite.
Yes. Then after that, we had the
Well, it was Beaver State Fling, wasn't it?
Yes,
It just happened.
We've just had Beaver State Fling.
Yeah.
So Ty Love ended up coming 43rd there. Ricky, huge again,
Follow up.
second.
It means the next one's going to be first, yeah?
I mean,
Has he gone fourth, third, second?
if he's going by the trend.
Fourth, third, second. He's got to take first. What event's that? Is that Preserve?
It will be the Preserve is the next one, yeah.
Righto, I'm locking in my tip.
You locking him in?
I don't know if we're doing tips, but I am.
We can do tips. We can do whatever we want.
I'm locking in Ricky.
All right.
Preserve.
He's building.
Yep.
He's going to get it. So another stellar performance from Rick. So, yeah, really exciting to see there. Coming in second. Kona Panis did play as well. She came 38th. Sai Nanda was 27th. So, again, some pretty solid performances there. I reckon we did have some of the other Latitude guys play as well. Let's just have a quick squiz here. Linus Carlson ended coming up 15th. That's pretty solid from
very solid.
Linus.
Yeah.
Linus? I don't know. I
don't know.
Does Linus have the sinus? The sinus? He should.
He definitely should. I've thrown the sinus. I actually toyed with the sinus a little bit last year.
Yeah?
Not a bad disc.
I like to play with my sinus, but yeah. Anyway, Albert Tam ended up coming 50th. Kevin Kiefer didn't have the greatest tournament, coming in at 61st. And then Rebecca Cox, solid in FPO, 5th, man.
Great follow-up as well.
5th. Very exciting. She must love the West Side disc golf. But yeah, she's killing it. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes in the next
I'm
event
calling
too.
podium. Is she playing Preserve?
Oh, I hope so.
She has to be.
Let's have a quick
I reckon
squeeze.
Preserve will be the last one before they all start heading over to Europe.
That's Sai. Sorry. Okay, so the next one. Yes, she is playing the Preserve Championship. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, you reckon she's podium?
Yeah. Well, it's not a it's got a bit more open golf as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So pretty similar kind of golf.
Yeah.
Hopefully no bushfires this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a recap from our the bigger names in the US. Obviously, we didn't shout out the biggest name, Kristen Tatar. Unfortunately,
why is that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's nursing a bit of a rib injury after a stack at home. So, yeah, hopefully she will be back soon. We have seen her pretty busy anyway, doing lots of other stuff, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Do you reckon she has any off weeks?
No, I don't think she's an off-week kind of person, to be honest. Yeah. And just a quick shout out now. We will be sort of recapping a little bit of the Trilogy presence down under. We have obviously myself and Dylan, sponsored by Latitude. Dynamic Disc has 2 players represented down under, which is Cassie Sweeten and Jason Brown, JB. Us 3 haven't really had much between myself, Dill, and Cassie haven't had much on the radar recently. There hasn't been much going on, but JB is currently in the US playing the Masters Worlds.
Big time. Yeah.
Big time. So yeah, he's literally at the home of DD. We've been seeing a heap of posts and stuff from him online, just hanging out with Terry Miller and
Johnny McRae.
Yeah. EMAC, just getting to obviously all the incredible courses around, playing all the classics and having an absolute ball of a time. Currently, it's 2 rounds in, and JB is sitting, I think he's about 60th or something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But it's a marathon.
It's
a marathon, and he's improved. He improved on day 1.
Yeah, man.
Day 2, so...
It's like these type of events as well. Like, yeah, okay, everyone wants to go there and perform, but at the same time, you're there for the experience too. And he looks like he's had a bloody good experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Unreal. So, next up, we're going to talk about building a Trilogy bag.
What would we know about that?
Well, hopefully
what would we
know a little bit about it. But this is going to be an ongoing segment. Each episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the discs that we throw, the discs that we haven't thrown. We're going to recap a few ones and, talk about what we know about them, and even review some of the newer ones. We will hopefully get out in the field and throw a few, because I know there's a few of these on this list that are sitting on my shelf that haven't seen enough daylight. So hopefully we'll be able to give anyone listening a little bit of insight into these discs, and if there's something that you're looking for, then hopefully we might be able to steer you in the right direction.
Definitely.
Yeah. So straight off the bat, we're going to start with putters. So Dylan and I both bag. We've obviously got putting putters and we've got throwing putters. So we've taken a couple out of our bags to talk about today. And then there's 2 in here as well that have previously been in our bags that we're going to sort of review and recap as well. So 6 discs in total. But the first one off the bat deal is the Latitude 64 Dagger.
Love the Dagger.
Now, we are filming this as well, and we'll post a bit of this later on. But you can see on the camera, we're holding the daggers here. These have been my putting putter for at least 9 years.
Wow, you had me. You have me.
Before this, I putted with Avias, some KC Pro Avias.
Yep.
So, I got to admit, when I first grabbed the Dagger, I was a bit shocked by the depth of them.
That's what everyone's first impression is, the depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do feel quite large in the hand. But after, a little bit of practice, a little bit of getting used to it, I just haven't ever really looked back. They do have quite a significant bead on them. So if you don't really like a bead on a putter, it might not be for you. And if you prefer a thin, streamlined sort of feel to a putter, again, the Dagger might not work for you. But if you do like those things, if you like something that really sits into the palm of your hand and has really quite a neutral flight as a putter.
A lot of glide though.
A lot of glide. Yeah.
Which is, everyone says they're deep and they glide. Yeah. And I would agree.
So the numbers of them. So speed with putters, speed is kind of like here or there really, but they do rack up as a 2 for speed. With glide, it's saying that they're a 5, and I probably agree with that.
Oh yeah,
I think that's spot on.
Yep.
And then our turn and fade is a 0-1, and I think that's pretty consistent too. I find if I'm putting from circle 2 or circle 1, I really I can put it on quite a straight line and I'll get just a touch of fade at the end.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same.
Now, with our plastics as well, so my chosen plastic, I've always really gone towards the zero hard. The ones that are actually, so the one that I'm holding up here is it's an old Feldy dagger, which is the
Feldman dagger.
Yeah, the Feldman dagger. Dave Feldberg dagger. This is a zero hard, and it is the old black on black stamp, which I kind of like that as well.
Oh yeah.
But I have toyed with a few different runs of plastic as well. The one that I have at the moment is just a normal. Well, the one that's in my bag is a bar stamped with the glow plastic.
Now tell me, Paddy, does color have any? Does it come into you at all?
The color of a disc?
Into it, the color of your putter during a tournament round. Because I got to say, I'm not a super person that would worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't have an order to my bag. I just chuck the discs in wherever they go.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing a tournament,
would you call it a superstition of
I would call it a superstition.
Yeah.
But it's not. It changes from round to round.
Yeah.
So I'll just grab it. I bag 4 putters for a tournament round.
4.
And I'll have
4 putting putters.
4 putting putters.
Okay.
And I'll have 2 putters of one color that are the same and 2 of the other color.
Okay.
At the moment, it's white and gray,
All right.
which I'm showing to the camera now. And I'll choose one of them before the round to be my circle 1 putter.
Okay.
And the other one to be my outside of circle 1 putter.
Right.
I've got a bit of range on my putt. I probably putt within 30 meters.
Yep.
35 maybe, depending on the green and the wind. But yeah, so at the moment, white has been my circle 1 putter for a long time.
Yep.
And grey is anything outside of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
And I pack 2 of them in case I lose one, then I have a backup. Even though it makes no difference.
My first go-to is probably not the colour, but I mean, I've retired this black one. I've normally had white putting discs.
Oh yeah, white
for a long time.
White's the staple. I go like white and grey or white and red.
Yeah,
is my 3 colours.
So the ones that are in my bag at the moment are purple, like pinky purple.
Okay.
Yeah. So that and when I'm in the backyard, I've got white, and they were white putters before. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not something that I think about, but yeah.
Well, the plastic that you mentioned, I probably should mention that.
Yes, you should.
I putt with zero medium. I will have. I've always had zero hards on the shelf. I prefer them for throwing. Just if I'm out practicing in the field, I just pack a bunch of putters to throw because I love throwing putters. I wouldn't throw daggers in a tournament round. But
why not?
Because I've got other putters that I throw.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Keep down but when you're ace running a short hole at your local course, can't have too many putters. So I'll take whatever I have. But yeah, I prefer a little bit of grip.
Yes.
Which the zero medium kind of gives. But the soft is just too.
Grip. I find they've got a little bit more tackiness. The zero mediums.
Yeah. The only downside I would say is that they warp a bit quicker, being that softer plastic.
Yep.
So I'll probably go through them a bit faster than you would.
Yep.
But I'm happy to do that because they're a great disc.
I haven't changed my putters for a long time, actually.
I reckon I go like 6 months and then I run them over again.
Yeah, right. There you go. Now, the other thing I just quickly want to mention there, we've talked about zero hard, we've talked about zero medium. We do know the daggers do come in as zero soft, but we haven't seen that run for a while produced, and I've never grabbed a zero soft dagger.
No, neither.
No, I don't think I'd go there. We've also seen them come out in bursts, zero hard sort of plastics as well.
That's the Wysocki special back when he was throwing daggers.
Yeah.
He's still throwing daggers now.
He still putts with daggers, but I haven't seen him putt with the burst ones. No. I do have some on the shelf. I've thrown them once. I don't know whether it's the burst or it's whether it's just like the Ricky run of them, but they do feel a little bit more like overstable than just my normal zero hard ones. But definitely super colourful and super pretty, almost too pretty to putt with, to be honest. And then we have seen small little random runs with these like glow sort of plastics and that in the past. But very, very solid putting putter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you're anyone in the Geelong community, you'll see the effect that maybe we've had on the community because everyone
definitely
likes to putt with a dagger. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, you said you've been putting with them for, 9 years?
Yeah, at
I
least.
reckon
Yeah.
I putted with the MVP Ion back in 2017.
Yeah.
Went to the States. It let me down. I let myself down, but I blame the putter as any
blame
disc
the
golfer would.
equipment, mate. Yeah.
So I reckon end of 2017, I switched to the dagger and haven't looked back. And I
Never
reckon
looked back, did you?
A lot of the Geelong crew have started since then, and I've always recommended the dagger.
All
Ryan
right.
Hart, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I reckon he's had every run of dagger since he started playing.
Yeah, Lean Dodson, looking at him too. Yeah. All right, so the next one I wanted to talk about because it has a few similarities to the dagger is the Dynamic Discs Guard. Now, when I say it has a few similarities, when we talk about numbers, the dagger was 2501. The guard is 250 0.5. So,
explain it to me. How do they know that? Anyway,
maybe it's
I won't
marketing.
go there.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
maybe it's marketing.
Anyway, if you've ever grabbed a dagger and thought, "Oh, I really like this feel, but I don't like that bead," go grab a guard because it's basically the depth of the dagger, the edge and rim of the dagger, but it doesn't have a bead. And I think it still flies the same as a dagger does. It's not I never thought I was really like, I need a bead on my putters, but yeah, apparently I do. So I do really like the guard. I've got a guard prototype here that I pulled off the shelf.
School.
Very old. Back when we used to get sent all the prototype stuff like straight off. That was pretty awesome. But yes, the guard, very good putter. This is just a 174. So if you like the dagger but you don't like the bead, go check out a guard.
Yeah, I just had a feel of it just before, and that was the first thing I noticed too. Was it felt very similar, just no bead.
Just no bead,
which I didn't realize I was a bead person till I lost it.
The Bead Brothers. There you go.
And then I held my dagger and it was all right.
Yeah. It came back. The next one, Dill. So we've talked about our putting putters, and I think we do need to do a brief shout out. This isn't a putting putter that has made it to my bag, but I know it is definitely a favourite of JB's and Cassie Sweeten.
Oh yeah,
as well. But it's the West Side Shield. So Jarrah Sweeten as well, sponsored by Latitude for long time, 5 years or so, 5-6 years. He also putted with a shield as well. So I remember him likening them to the old Pro D challenges from Discraft.
Okay,
that's what he putted with before he was sponsored by Latitude. But yes, I would describe. Well, yeah. How would you describe the shield?
I'm going to be upfront with you.
Yeah.
I've never thrown a shield or putted with a shield.
Oh, okay.
Never have.
Well,
I've seen them around. JB, Jareth, like you mentioned, Cassie. Never.
All right.
Never tried one.
Well, I'll take the lead on this segment then.
Maybe I'll have to get back to you. I'll get back to you. But over to you.
So the shield numbers are, it's a 3-speed, it's a 3-glide, and it's a 0-1 in stability. I'm holding, there's a BT medium, and I've got a BT hybrid here in my hand. But definitely when you compare to like a dagger or a guard, it is a thinner height or depth to those.
It feels like a judge.
Yeah, it does. It's got a bead, very flat top. Just a average sort of concave to it feel. And yeah, has a very predictable. I mean, it's 0-1, so very predictable flight and a touch of finish at the end. I have used these a little bit as a throwing putter and just in the backyard for a little bit of just sort of random putting practice. And they're really solid. Really solid. I think me personally, I prefer to have a bit more depth in my putters, obviously with a dagger, but as a throwing putter, really like them. And they have quite a when you throw, around that 40 to 50 meter sort of length. Has a very sort of straight flight, maybe a touch of turn, and then a little bit of finish to the left on. And Dylan and I are right-handed backhanded throwers, predominantly with a bit of forehand, right-hand forehand as well. So, yeah, have that little bit of fade at the end.
It does feel, just from not having thrown it, just holding it now, does feel just like a standard solid putter.
Yeah.
Nothing special about it. Doesn't have it's not super deep. It's not super flat. It's pretty round. It feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Just feels like a good disc.
I mean, if you're a fan of the Trilogy and you love Westside Discs, I mean, the best thing about Westside Discs as well is their stamps.
Oh, yeah.
Epic stamps. But definitely the Shield is probably the main one that sticks out to me as a putting putter from them at the moment. So, if you're ever out there looking to try Westside, definitely try a Shield.
What does Matty O putt with? Do we know?
That's a really good question. Has he got the Maiden? I think he putts with the Maiden.
It rings a bell. Yeah, because I've heard what it is before, and I didn't think it was the Shield.
I think maybe we need to highlight a few moving forward. We'll do some team player spotlights and figure out what their bag is.
Yeah.
And talk about that.
For sure.
But so next up, we've got a couple of discs that we throw that we want to talk about too. So, Dill, what are your main go-to throwing putters?
So this stays pretty constant. I'll change my bag for what course I'm playing, but these always stay the same. Staples. I've got a Supreme Judge. I'd never thrown a Judge until, when did these come out, Paddy?
These were recently in the last 7 months. I think we got these, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe end of last year.
Yep.
And I got a couple of these and loved it straight away. I was
So the Supreme is the plastic and the
new
run.
plastic. Yeah.
And we got sent the first runs, which is there was a Supreme Judge, I think Supreme
Trespass
and yes,
and Escape.
Fugitive.
Oh yeah,
fugitive as well.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I mean the Judge has been one of the oldest dynamic putters, like getting around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Classic Judge, EMAC Judge, and then now the Supreme Judge.
I reckon you could, like, the Judge is one of those discs you'll find in every lost and found box and in every Franklin's in America. When Dad and I went, they just had little shelves here and there, but there's always a Judge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the Supreme plastic. It kind of feels a little bit like Zero Medium, but just harder.
Yeah.
So it's got that tackiness, but it's not as bendable.
Yeah.
Not as soft.
Not as pliable.
And the flight is just dead straight, but it won't turn over unless I want it to.
Yeah.
So I can give it a bit. I'll use this anywhere from 45, 50 to 90, 100 meters, and it will just go dead straight.
Yeah, cool.
Hold a hyzer if I put on hyzer.
Yeah.
So I've been loving it.
Yeah. The numbers on it, it is a 2-speed, 4-glide 0-1. And I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, Dylan, you've got a fair bit of arm speed on you, so throwing that 90 meters, it's going to go pretty straight with a little bit of turn to it, I'm sure. But
yeah.
I agree. I don't find that they're not going to turn and burn with the higher arm speeds.
Oh, definitely not. No, that's what I love about it, which is what I struggled finding a throwing putter like this that wasn't a slammer, which I'll get to soon.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the Supreme Judge. I actually bag an EMAC Judge, which has the same flight numbers, and I would say the same characteristics and the same feel, apart from the firmness of the plastic. So I would say the EMAC Judge is a little bit more pliable, and I've had that. I suppose it's hit a few trees and has got a few more dings than probably what I saw in that disc there as well. But great throwing putter, and I use that from, like I said, anywhere at that 40 to 60 meter upshot sort of range.
Yeah.
Great flight.
Yeah.
All right, and what's the last one you got there, mate?
And I've got the Socky Bomb Slammer. Just a utility disc, really.
I was so excited when these things came out. I thought they were absolute money. I did bag one for a while, and I've taken it out of my bag because Yeah, I think I personally need a little bit more glide and
Harp?
yeah,
Harp? Yeah.
yeah,
Because that's what I was throwing prior to the Slammers coming out. And I actually took a harp out of my bag for
this, yeah,
a while. I think we had nationals in Queensland a couple of years ago, and that was the first tournament I really put this in the bag as a disc that I trusted, and it did wonders for me. And I reckon I took a harp out after that because I couldn't see the difference. But just recently, I've been putting a harp back in, just to kind of complement it because, like you said, it just has a bit more glide, not as harsh a finish.
Well, when we look at the numbers, it's a 3-speed. Glide is 1.
It's a brick.
It is a brick.
And a usable brick, not a bad brick.
Yeah. And we've got a 0.5, positive 0.5, and then a 4 is our turn and glide. So this thing, if you're a right-handed backhand thrower, as soon as this thing's out of your hand, it's going left.
And I love that about the disc.
Yeah.
You know? No doubting it.
Yeah. It. I took it out of my bag because I found I was about consistently 20 meters short of where I really wanted to be without, and that was just purely came down to the glide. If I was to really get the same distance out of a harp with it, I'd have to throw it about 10 to 15% harder.
And
which is fine, but yeah, I was just losing that touch. I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of touch as well, something I've noticed is because they're coming down to the ground on such a sharp angle, they'll often get a fair bit of ground play for a putter.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a harp or a judge, it's not coming down on the ground like at a 45 plus degree angle. Whereas if this is on the right surface, like at Inverleigh, where it's just like sandy dust, really short grass, it'll often get a lot of like skip. Like not in the air skip, but just like that weird kind of
ground play. Yeah.
But consistently, not just like, oh, that was an unusual thing that I wouldn't expect to happen. Which is also part of the reason I put the harp back in, because sometimes you don't want that.
You don't want that.
As much as a good, reliable right to left disc is.
Cool. Interesting. Now, the other thing about the Slammer as well, if you've never held one, they've got a bit of a funny top plate to it. So the top flight plate actually has, would you call it a bevel? About maybe 1.5 centimeters in from the edge of the rim on the actual top of it.
Yeah.
Which is a bit odd for, a lot of discs, really. It's quite unique in that respect. I have never felt that it impacts my grip at all. No. Never comes into play with, oh, this feels wrong, this feels weird. But it is a bit of an odd thing about the disc. And I don't really have the physics knowledge or background to really answer the question as to, does that affect the flight or make it more overstable, make it less glide?
That's what I'm thinking. I just was thinking about it then as you were saying it. Like, the thing is, flat discs are generally more overstable.
Yeah.
Is that the general rule?
Typically. Yeah.
Typically.
Well, less glide. So less glide, then, the harder it's going to go. But, there would definitely be more weight around the edge of the disc to make that heavier and drag into the ground. I don't know.
Are there other discs that have this feature?
There's been plenty in the past that have, random little ones as well. Like the one will come to mind was like the Banger. From Discraft. Not the same sort of bevel. That's got like a weird, what would you call it? Like
a moat.
A moat.
It's got a moat.
Yeah, that goes around it like a thumb track that goes around the entire disc. I've seen a couple of these little things before. Like
the grip pads on the sinus.
Yes. Sinus. But yes, it doesn't. Maybe at first, if you've never felt one before, you have it in the hand, and be like, oh, that feels a bit weird. But definitely, I've never felt that it's affected the flight or the feel or the grip of it in my hand when I've been throwing it.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
I had a mate just hold it and try throw it for the first time the other day and mentioned it, and I'd actually forgotten about this feature. Yeah. And he said it was just too weird to throw.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right. It is a bit of a strange,
no, it's
bit
interesting.
of an oddity, but I love it.
interesting to hear from a newer player. So
Yeah.
maybe it might feel a bit weird in the hand, but
And I think that was with forehand because your thumb kind of sits right on it, whereas with backhand, I don't know, with my grips kind of on the outside before you get to that edge.
yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, there you go. And there's definitely plenty of pretty cool colors and versions of the Socky Bomb Slammer as well. There were the Raptor Eye ones, which I snagged quite a few of.
Yep, I think I've got 4 on the shelf at home, and that's not including the ones I've lost.
Yeah. So there's probably a few getting around in Geelong then, in some bags out there. But there's always some cool or like Orbit ones coming out as well. I have seen some glow slammers as well popping up here and there. So definitely some cool versions of the disc as well. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the first building the Trilogy bag segment. So hopefully that you enjoyed a little bit of that. Hopefully there was a bit of insight into what Dylan and I do, and as well as a couple of different sort of putting putters and throwing putters. And I'm excited for the next episode to try some newer stuff. Maybe we can look at a Zenus or a Pure or something like that, and recap
and also
test them.
I'd be interested to hear if anyone's had different experiences with their discs.
Please.
You just mentioned.
Yeah.
Because we got probably, I know from as experienced players, discs probably fly differently.
Yes.
To those who could be listening.
Yeah.
So let us know. Because that's always interesting to hear.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we wanted to talk about the release radar. This is a segment we'll be coming to a little bit. We've got... So, if you ever jump onto the online stores of Latitude and Dynamic Discs, they have these little release radars. And I know, Dill, we obviously get a few discs here and there that pop up and we like. We get a bit of allotment stuff, but I'm always looking for new discs. I love these cool, if it's got a cool stamp or if it's got a different run or like these VIP X versions or whatever. I want to have a look at it and I want to find it. So, we thought we'd check this out every episode or two and see what's coming out and see what we've snagged or what we think is worth grabbing coming out. So
I pretty much have the tab permanently opened and refreshing on my work and personal laptop.
Now, it is a bit savage being in Australia as well because the timing of the releases is never
ideal.
It's great if you're European because I think it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but that translates to about 11 o'clock at night for us.
Sleep time.
Yes, which is Patrick and Dylan's bedtime, well and truly. But ones that we wanted to briefly shout out, I think we need to do it anyway, is the Kristen Tatar 1000 rated Grand Burst Grace was released 2 weeks ago. It sold out in 3 minutes.
Flat.
So
flat.
I missed it.
I was asleep. No, actually, I was on the train.
You're on the train?
I was on the train, probably asleep.
Oh, right.
But on the train.
No excuse. I was fast asleep. That's prime time REM sort of, time for
I was
Patrick.
recovering from a dog's loss, but we won't talk.
Oh, no, fair enough. Yeah. Doggies. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll get flatter.
But they have, they've done a rerun. They've released it again. I can already see that. So it comes in a gold and a silver. The gold is sold out again, but there's still some silver there.
Get on it. It probably won't be there by the time that you're hearing this.
Yes. Kristen
but
Tatar,
have a check.
The first 1,000 rated female FPO player in history. So you are literally buying a piece of history there.
I would say this is the biggest milestone, general disc golf milestone that has been reached probably ever.
Yeah. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, with the state of a lot of this FPO play, we'll see it again.
Oh, 100. We'll see it. We'll see it next year.
Yeah. And to be honest, Paige probably should have been, she's played 1,000 rated golf for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But she just hadn't had the field to get her that rating. But mate, so stoked that she's got there and we've got the disc coming. So happy days. Piece of history.
Speaking of big milestones, do you reckon if Tim ever gets to 1,000 rated, that would surpass this in terms of significance.
Oh, he's got to get there first.
He's a fair way off. But that's what I'm
Seeing
saying.
as there's
If that
only
ever
been
happens,
four people in Australian history to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Tim. There's a challenge. In the next 5 years, 1,000 rated, and I'll buy the crap out of your discs. But yeah, so that's on the release radar that we've seen. That's probably been the most exciting one. Speaking, on the topic of Kristen Tatar, she's actually released her own website. So KristenTatar.com. And she's only released that this week, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even though she's got the old crack rib, she's still working hard at it, Dill. No rest for this lady.
She's got medical fees to
well,
cover.
yeah. Not in Europe.
Well, yeah. That's true.
So, yeah, we jumped on. We had a quick look. She's got a heap of cool discs on there, like a lot of her tour series, a lot of, wins from the Professional World Championships. She's signing a lot of these as well, which is pretty cool.
A lot of them are out of stock already.
Yeah.
She said she already had to restock literally 48 hours after opening the shop.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No, neither am I.
I mean, and there's some old, really early run sort of classic, from 2022, 2021 when she was up and coming. And I don't think she had a world title in some of these discs as well, which she signed. So some old, pretty collectible sort of discs, and with the old Kristen Tatar signature on there. Pretty cool as well. So aside from the discs, there's a scrunchie pack, Dylan, that might look good on your mo. We've got some KT disc golf pins, which I'm actually quite interested in too.
They do look. It's a nice logo.
Yeah.
Classy.
Yeah, we've got some wooden minis as well.
You'd be all over that, Paddy.
Yeah, actually, yes. They do look quite cool. And we've got some of her own merch as well. So I'm quite liking, she's got a superhero sweatshirt, which, she's superimposed her own face onto it.
I'd love to be rocking that next episode.
Yeah, all right.
What do you reckon?
Let's okay. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, with the influx of sponsorship that comes into this pod, surely we could afford 2 sweatshirts.
and look, this is, who can buy us from here? Is this just a Europe thing? Is this just Europe and America? No. This is worldwide shipping.
It's worldwide shipping,
which is cool.
Actually, we probably
not a given in the disc golf world.
We need to check on the shipping before we go getting crazy.
Yeah, that's
yeah. But anyway, there's a pretty exciting. Jump on there if you haven't seen it already.
It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
Yeah, there's a shop, but it also talks about her story, her upcoming calendar, the journal, the press, contacting her, any partners. It's pretty awesome. So stoked for her. The other release radar as well, and actually, we didn't really have any, did we? It was just that.
Zero gravity.
Oh, yeah. And the other release radar, that thing that we wanted to mention as well, we do have some of these coming in the post, but Latitude has released and announced their new line, Zero Gravity discs. Now,
is it a new plastic or just a new type of disc?
Well, it's the molds that we know and love, but they've reduced the weight of them, the grams. So typically, disc golfers will throw discs that range from the lightest maybe being 150 grams, maybe up to 175, and you'll tend to find most pro players or people who play tournaments are going for those heavier weights because they are more predictable and hold better in the wind. But Latitude have brought out the Zero Gravity, which the gram is down to the 120s.
Yep.
They've released a couple of videos. So if you jump onto Latitude's YouTube channel, you can see some of the reviews there as well. But basically, people with beginners or with very lower arm speeds, which could be our older disc golfers, older population, and kids are able to throw these discs, with the same disc in a heavier weight, and they throw the gravity, they're throwing it another 20, 30 meters almost instantly.
Yeah, for sure.
So they've released 4 molds in the zero gravity, super lightweight. The Explorer, Saint, Fuse, and Pure. So a pretty
Good
solid
discs.
lineup for any beginner or child, or that'll get you around a course easily. And I think this is a fantastic idea from them. It's a real, it's probably a gap in the market that we've seen for probably a long time that they haven't got these discs. I have nabbed a couple of fuses because I thought this would be great for my son, to start and have a bit of a crack. He enjoys coming around the disc golf course as well. So, I'm keen to see how lightweight they actually feel. I think the lightest weight disc I've held is probably about a 150 class, and that felt crazy light. So this is going to be interesting and weird. But I think this maybe we can have a bit of fun with them when they come and have a go. But if you're an avid disc golfer and you've got a young family, or you've got an older parent who wants to go out and give it a crack, maybe worth jumping on and having a look at this zero gravity line and get them into disc golf probably quicker.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a gap in the market. Like you've got beginner discs and different molds, but having the same disc just at a lighter weight, it's a great move, I think. And I'm keen to actually do a comparison and see what the difference actually is.
Yeah,
what part weight plays in it.
I'm pretty confident that we'll turn and burn the crap out of these, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. So let's see.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got a bit of a fun segment.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah. So we're going to try this. This is a guess the disc. So Dylan and myself, we're going to take it in turns getting blindfolded. And then I've got a disc for you, Dill. You've got one for me. And we're going to see if we can, figure out what the hell it is.
Are we going plastic and mold or just mold?
Let's see if we can go mold first, and then a bonus point for the plastic.
Right, and then an extra bonus for color, just because I'm competitive.
All right, who's going first? Me?
You get blindfold yourself.
All
first.
right, I'll blindfold up. You go there. Now I have actually gone to the next level, and I've got a Latitude 64 blindfold here. There you go.
So you're looking good while you're doing it.
Always. All right, deal.
Righto. Clear as mud?
Clear as mud, mate. I've even got the eyes closed too.
Righto, I'll show this to the camera.
Yeah.
You guys can have a little look.
Now, has this come from your bag?
This has come from the discs I put in my bag before coming here.
Okay.
Because you know my bag very well.
I do.
So I'm just going to give you that.
All right.
There we go.
Okay, so it's definitely it's not a putter, it's not a mid, it's a driver. I'd say that's a pretty thin rim. So I'm guessing it's a fairway driver. It's got a bit of concave, not a heap of dome. Ooh.
How much use can you feel? Does it feel new? Does it feel old?
I can feel a little bit of use on there. I'm going to say that this is an Explorer, and I reckon it is a optoplastic, but I don't feel confident about that.
Hats off, Paddy. You are bang on.
An Opto Explorer.
On.
There you
the
go,
one
mate.
and only.
Far out.
This is a well-known Explorer, but apparently it's well-known even with the blindfold on.
Oh, mate.
That's a good get.
Cool. There you go.
There you go.
Success.
Wow.
Oh, Paddy 1, Dill 0.
You've put the...
All right.
Jeez.
Blindfold up, mate.
Righto.
All right. I think you need to wear a bandana. All right.
What do you reckon?
Yep. Looks good.
Righto. Here we go.
All right. Can you tell I'm naked?
Yeah, I could smell it.
All right. There you go, mate.
Righto. Ooh. Oh, that's weird. It felt like a driver initially, and then the edge feels a little not as sharp as I would expect from a distance driver. But it feels slimmer. So I've already ruled out putter and mid. It feels slimmer though. Oh, it's slimmer than a fairway. I don't know if that's use or if that's the disc.
Yeah, it's a little bit used. It's not out of my bag. I'll
Okay.
give you that one.
All right. This is tough.
I did say I would make this one tough.
All right, this is a fairway.
Yep.
I'm going to lock in a fairway because it's not the rim underneath. It's not thick. It's not wide enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely. Oh, it's not definitely. Feels. Oh, it feels like a gold plastic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man. Righto. I want to say. Jeez, you made this look very easy.
Mate, I have been in this game for a while.
Jeez.
I'll give you one small hint. It is an older disc.
It's an older disc.
It's an older disc.
Oh, yep. I think I'm pretty confident here.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna say a spark.
Ooh.
Is this a spark? It feels like a spark. I'm actually pretty confident saying that. The Jareth Special. I'm gonna say it's a gold spark.
All right. Have a look.
Trident.
Ba-bow.
Wow.
But Spark, that is a solid guess.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Very, very similar. It's just the rim that's different.
I don't reckon I've ever thrown a trident.
Yeah.
Explain it to me. What's a trident?
A trident flies like a spark, but it has a little less glide. So it is an overstable control driver, and this is an old boy and in pretty good nick too. Must I say?
Very good, Nick. It has an interesting rim to it.
Yeah,
It's not sharp. It's kind of rounded off,
it is. Yeah,
which threw me. I'm going to be honest. It threw me.
yeah. I
did well.
wondered if it would. It's either going to throw you or it's either going to be like, yeah, 100%. That's this.
Righto, I'm getting you next week. I've already know the disc I'm going to bring in. I already know. Righto, 1-0
All right.
Paddy.
1-0. There we go. All right.
That was fun.
Nice. Good. I like it. And finally to last segment, because we've been chatting for a bit. The wish list. Now, this is something that we will do, and we will bring up our own personal sort of little disc golf trilogy wish lists. But we're keen to hear from you guys. If there's something that you want a disc that you're looking for a certain flight, or you want a certain feel, or whatever you're sort of looking for, let us know, and we'll have a think, and we'll recommend maybe something that could work for you. But Dill, to kick this off, to what I am looking for at the moment, that I've been looking for quite a long time, is an overstable mid. Now, I'm not talking a Justice. I'm kind of been looking for something that sits between a dynamic disc Justice, like that's an absolute meat hook, and maybe like a brand new Verdict. But I've noticed a lot of my Verdicts seem to pop up and go a bit straighter. And I've been trying to find something to sort of sit in the middle of that. And it's been tricky. I've been struggling to find some stuff over the years, and I don't know whether I need to find a particular run of Verdict or anything like that. I think the early Clemonade flat top runs, Verdicts, were pretty money. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for at the moment. So...
I've got a couple of Verdicts on the shelf.
Yeah.
I think are they the ones with like the mandala kind of stamp on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple of those, and I agree. I threw them in Gambia over the weekend, and they kind of had a little bit of stand up to them. Not a Justice in between that. The disc in my bag that's in that slot is the Savior. Mm-hmm. I know you've thrown the Savior a little bit.
Yeah.
And they can tend to sometimes some of the Saviors I've had have beaten in pretty quickly.
Yes. I found that too.
So although I do have one that's kept quite stable, but
Look, we don't
trust.
You don't have to answer it now. Maybe we
Yeah.
can come back next episode. You have a think about it.
What
But,
do you reckon a trust is? That straighter than you're looking for?
Yeah, trust is straight.
That's almost like one step above a compass.
Basically, if you
Kind of
threw
thing.
a trust
Mm.
in a tailwind,
Mm.
I want to be able to do throw that exact flight, but into a headwind.
Mm.
Yeah, and try and have the same sort of amount of glide, because I can throw a justice in that kind of headwind, but it doesn't go as far. Doesn't have that glide and it dumps short.
I'm going to
and early.
explore a bit of West Side. I think they have like the pine.
They do
comes
have
to mind.
the pine, and there's a anchor as well. I think.
The anchor. Oh, the anchor. Yeah, the anchor I threw for a long time
Mhm.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Maybe I should.
I'm going to think about it and get
Yeah.
back to you, but maybe rediscover
Alright.
the anchor.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Dill, what are you looking for?
Yeah, well, you might have noticed from the putters I showed you earlier, my throwing putters.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a straight and overstable. I don't have an understable throwing putter currently in the bag.
Yeah. Right.
I've had a few kind of slip in and out,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing I've really grabbed onto and loved. What do you got for me?
Oh, this is a tricky one. I think the first understable putter that would maybe come to mind would be maybe a pure, but not like a opto pure, like something in a different run.
I love the baseline kind of plastics.
Yeah.
The throwing putters.
I think that's probably my go-to. Maybe even a Keystone. Even like an old classic Judge, but that's got to have. The fact
Put a
that
bit
you
of
throw a
work into it.
Supreme already. I've got a couple of old, some old beat-up Judges that could tickle your fancy too. But yeah, maybe
It's an interesting slot because I've got the slammer, which I'm comfortable throwing backhand and forehand, which gets that left to right kind of shape.
True.
I suppose. Yeah, the backhand understable putter, maybe just that little bit more forward carry, not coming in sideways.
I'll have
interesting slot.
a bit of a mull over it as well, but they're the first things that come to mind. But
Yep.
And if you're listening and you're like, hey, guys, we've got the perfect disc for you. Cool. Let us know.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Help us. And Kristen throws a pure, so I mean, I'm liking that suggestion just off of that.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool pures out there. Actually.
yeah.
I think I've got some cool ones on the shelf too. I think we.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to the end of the very first episode of Talking Trilogy. And I think we talked a lot about Trilogy, Deal.
It was fun talking Trilogy.
Yeah. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please give us some feedback. We want to develop this and see how it goes. But I think a big part of this as well is if you're interested in Trilogy Discs and there's something that you're looking for, please send us a question in or ask us for a recommendation or something like that. We can do that on the pod. Dylan and I also get out to, quite a few league days and tournaments coming up. So hit us up. We're keen to talk about it. We're keen to explore. There's so many discs out there. Like the amount of discs that we put on the list there, Dill, is crazy at the moment. And we've got a lot of old stuff as well sitting on the shelves as well. So we're keen to explore the entire range of Trilogy discs and see if there's any gems that we uncover in there. But until next time, thanks, Dill.
Keep talking Trilogy.
Keep talking Trilogy. Keep throwing Trilogy.
Keep throwing Trilogy. Always.